Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to pray for me and forgive me for I have sinned. I have made a massive, massive mistake, and I kneeled under pressure and I have sinned because I, ladies and gentlemen, have watched Madam Web. I know, I'm disappointed in myself as well. Yeah, there's really no excuse on why I watched this movie, but I did watch this movie. It's one of those things when you are married, there's sort of like a give and take in the relationship. Okay, so I watch a movie that I want, like a Nora or The Wild Robot, and my wife gets to pick a movie that she wants, and unfortunately, my wife likes shit. So I ended up watching Madam Web. Luckily for me, I didn't pay a dime. It was on Netflix, so the only thing I really lost in the end was brain cells and time. And ladies and gentlemen, you can't get either one of those back. So, Madam Web, I'm going to show some clips here. I'm very limited on what I could show because Sony likes to copyright everything. But yeah, the movie wasn't good. I knew the movie wasn't going to be good in the first place. It's one of those reasons why I didn't go see it in theaters. Like, I didn't see any of the Sony spin-off movies other than the Venom movies. I didn't see any of them in theater because I knew they were all going to be piles of trash. So I just skipped them. I think it's absolutely hilarious that you have a film with such phenomenal talent like Madam Web, Cindy Sweeney, Dakota Johnson, Isabella Moner, Emma Roberts has a small role in this movie, yet this movie is absolute donkey crap. And that's me just being PG and keeping it straight because I can go on all kinds of tangents on why this movie is absolutely crap. Like the plot of the movie doesn't make sense, and then it feels like they're trying to cram as much Spider-Man references in this thing as possible. They even try to go about saying with great power comes great responsibility because ladies and gentlemen, when you have great responsibility, sometimes it also comes great power, or however they decided to rephrase that hogwash nonsense that was in this movie. It was absolutely nonsense. The main villain, oh my god. Not only was he boring and dull, and Zeke-Kill is actually a pretty cool villain within the Spider-Man lore. If you actually like read the comics or read his character, he's actually pretty cool. He has like a lot of the powers that Spider-Man has had. Or has rather, but he's completely wasted and is just ruined in this entire film. And the actor's dialogue was completely ADR'd. And I heard about this going into the movie, and it's actually worse than I thought because there are moments within the movie where the main villain is talking and his lips aren't even moving. It feels like you're watching an old foreign film, like one of those old Godzilla films where they're just talking and like the dialogue is not sinking. It's like that, but there are moments where he has like monologues and his lips aren't moving like at all, and I'm like, what is this crap? And like the whole premise of the movie is complete nonsense because Dakota Johnson has like mommy problems, which is absolutely hilarious, and she like blames her mom and all kinds of stuff. It's guys, I can't do it justice on how bad this movie is. And then she like finds out her mom went to the Amazon to try to find a cure because her baby was dying or some crap. I don't know. I gotta be honest with you. I think there was a few times I might have blacked out within watching the movie. I'm like, man, I'm just blacking out, or I'm going to the bathroom, or is this movie like is this movie still going on? What's going on? Her mom goes to the Amazon and like there's these like tribes and they're all kind of dressed like Spider-Man. Like they have like vines that like mimic Spider-Man's webbing on his costume. So I was like, man, what are we doing here with this? Uncle Ben is an EMT. Like what are we doing here? Like what's going on? Um, Emma Roberts, spoiler alert, is Peter's mom. Like it's the movie's bad. The movie's bad. I don't understand how you have such talent and you absolutely waste it. And the movie kind of goes the way you think it's gonna go toward the end. It's like, oh, Madam Web is gonna be blind. And at one point, my wife looked at me. She's like, she's sort of like Professor X, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this movie because she was like in a wheelchair, she was blinded, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on with this movie. Like, this is not Madam Web from the comic books at all. And I showed my wife Madam Web, and it was like an old lady who was blind, and I'm like, man, and then she goes around, and she like gets all the different Spider-Man and like and the movie's nothing like that. The villain is absolutely awful. The character is absolutely awful. Like, all the girls are so hateable. I absolutely hate all the girls. And it was sucks because I like them all in real life. Like, every one of these actors I absolutely love in real life, but they're so hateable in this movie. Like, Dakota Johnson's like, hey, hide out in this wilderness so no one can find you. And then they go start dancing on like a like table at a diner and stuff. And Cindy Sweeney, we're supposed to believe that she's a very shy girl, and she's very shy and sheltered. But then she's like strip dancing on a table, and it's just like, what's going on here? The dialogue doesn't make sense. The acting doesn't make sense. The acting doesn't make sense. Well, the acting's just not good because the script doesn't make sense. The story doesn't make sense. They try to cram in Spider-Man references. It doesn't make it's awful. It's absolutely awful. Just a dumpster fire of a movie. Like, you cannot like if you haven't seen this movie yet, I highly recommend never to watch this movie. But if you're someone like me, you're probably gonna be forced into it at some point in your life. So the least I can do is like capitalize on it, do a video, and hopefully make a little bit of money on watching this train wreck of a movie. You look at this and you're thinking like, there's no way people that work at a studio thought this was a good idea, right? There's no way someone like sat at a like think about it, guys. These are millionaires sitting at a table, and this is the best shit that they can come up with. It makes me feel like that one scene in Armageddon where Bruce Willis is talking to the one general or the guy from NASA, and he's like, so what's your backup plan? And he's like, no, this is our plan. He's like, our plan is to fly on an asteroid, drill, and put a bomb in there. And he's like, that's your plan? He's like, you're NASA, for Christ's sakes. Don't you guys have just people like thinking this shit up? Right? Like, you're NASA. You're like, there's a whole room of you, and this is the best you can come up with. This is the plan that you can come up with. I feel the same way about Sony Pictures. It's like, this is what you came up with? Out of all the Spider-Man characters, all the lore, all the like the rich lore of Spider-Man, this was the best you can come up with? And who are the idiots that signed off on this horse shit? Like what's going on? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's sad because I feel like I could go to the bathroom, take a shit, and in 5 minutes come up with a better plot for a Madam Web movie than this. And millions upon millions were spent on this. And it completely just baffles my mind that we live in a world where there are people that thought that this was a good idea. Right? Like, that's the part that bothers me the most. Like, I can understand, like, if your movie isn't good or whatnot, but Sony hasn't been hitting a good track record. Morbius. The Venom movies are hit and miss depending on who you talk to. I think they're horse shit. The Morbius movie, this, and then Craven. And oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I seen Craven 2 days ago, and I'm going to talk about that crap as well. But what killed me is Sony has a horrible track record, which means not only did they make the mistake on this movie, but they made this mistake multiple times. How does anybody have a job over there? Like, how does anybody have a job over at Sony Pictures right now that they're just like, hey, you know what? This is a fantastic idea. I feel like they're trolling us at this point. Like, this movie's so bad that they are trolling us. Like what are you doing right now? Like it doesn't make any sense. Any sense at all. Like, I keep picturing myself like, man, what if I can go back in time and tell like a 10-year-old Rob that, hey, there's going to be a Madam Web movie in like 30 years. I wouldn't believe it. I would not believe it. And then you show me this, and this is the best you can come up with? Sony Pictures, this is the best you can come up with the entire library of Spider-Man characters. That is what you can come up with. I don't understand how millions and millions of dollars is spent on stuff like this. But anyway, Madam Web, highly, highly, highly recommend you do not watch this movie. If you have anything better, go to the dentist. Get a cavity drilled. Get a root canal. It's a better time than spending watching that movie. Thank you guys so much for sitting and listening to this rant. Please do me a favor. Smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching. I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.